My side of the story. My side of the story.
This is my side of the story, and today of course this is a solo episode na ita playlistiwa right here on solo episodes. Itakuwa inaitwa the Honest Room playlist. So in case you have any questions, as Gen Zs, I feel it's time we have conversations that actually impact us, because now we are the next leading generation. Okay, now in case you have any questions, you want to interact with us on our social media platforms, make sure you follow us. In case you want to have a conversation with us, this platform is completely open, so make sure you like, subscribe, share and comment. I'm your host, Cookie the baddest, Cookie the illest, Cookie the lyrical mistress. So today we are talking about society and modern life, and the expectations we have on ourselves as Gen Zs, and also the traumas that we go through, right? Not just Gen Zs, but as young people. You know, this is a conversation that affects a lot of young people, those people who have finished school, they're trying to go into the work force. They have also finished, you know, university, they're trying to establish themselves in life. Anybody and everyone who is in the bandwagon ya young people, let me tell you, this is a conversation that we actually need to have. Yes, I think sahi tumefika point where especially in this day and age, it's a very information in a flow fast. Unaamka asubuhi, unafungua social media, unapata kuna mtu mwenye amenunua G-Wagon, amenunua Mercedes. Wewe unajiuliza ukiwa umeketi hapo, kwani mimi nafanya nini? What am I doing? Or I'm not praying facing the right direction when I'm talking to God. And I feel like, yes, at this point, we are chasing a lot of success compared to happiness. And also, by the way, some of this money yenye a lot of people are chasing haipatikani in the right way. Most of the money, actually there are so many people wamesema hivi, not all money is good money. A lot of money yenye mnaona huku nje ni dirty money, it's blood money. So tumefika hiyo point as young people, tunakuwa pressured sana kupush, you know, kupush success sana compared to happiness. We are not a happy generation. We just want to be successful, and success is not bad. As a matter of fact, I say each and every single person should strive to be successful, but at the same time, you have to look at the ways you're getting those success, that success. Naelewa? That's a very good question, by the way. And I feel like it's performative. A lot of people look happy on social media because they are performing for a crowd, and after they don't care about you. For example, mimi nimepost social media because I expect people to comment, waone venye nafanya fiti kwa life. But at the same time, you're performing for this audience, but this audience, they only exist online because they also want to interact with other people and see different things. But you know, just social media is not a real place, okay? So at the end of the day, I feel like, yes, a lot of people wanataka kuonekana they are happy online, but in reality they're not doing well. Also, kuna mtu alikuwa mention sahi biashara mingi zinataka kuonekana they are very successful online, but kwa reality ukiangalia books na records, they are not successful. So hii inakata cross. Business owners, individuals, families, they're going through a lot. Wanapitia vitu mingi sana. And it's high time make sure kwanza wewe you are happy and satisfied in your life, in your marriage, kwa biashara yako, you are happy and satisfied, because happiness, the pursuit of happiness takes a lot of time. Okay, and nobody is going to come and create happiness for you. Social media will only create happiness for you for 3 seconds, 1 minute, 30 minutes, and it's done. But whatever happens in real life, maijiuliza kwa nini generation ya kitambo ilikuanga happy, by the way? Because you didn't have to perform for people who don't exist. You just had to live your life. You understand? Pressure zao zilikuwa different. Maybe masa wanafaa kulala, kuangalia map, wanafaa kufika job ngapi. But other than that, I feel at this point, a lot of people want to show other people online, who by the way, hawajali that they are very successful, they are very happy, but in reality, nobody cares. Do you know how long it takes to build a business, by the way, like in reality, not even just online? Online biashara inaweza kaa successful, online marriage inaweza kaa successful, and it's a work. It's a how can I say, it's a progressive job. You understand? So, for example, biashara, it takes almost 5 years to just build a business, and even longer to establish it solid, like as a solid business. But it will even take you longer to show the results on paper. You understand? Like taking time sana, and it needs a lot of patience. And this, as I said, inakata cross. We should focus on being happy as people and less on social media, honestly, because we are performing for people who don't even care. I think it's both. Inakumotivate na bado ina destroy. But again, I feel like there's a very fine line between self-esteem, confidence, and ego. Okay, there's a very fine line between those three. There's a point where confidence inapita a particular boundary and now it becomes ego. Sasa unagongana na ego za watu online. It's not even about self-confidence or even self, being aware of yourself. It's now about egos. So I feel like social media, to some extent, it will build your confidence, and at the same time ita build ego yako. So you really need to tread carefully when you're dealing with such content. Like ukideal na watu, unajua venye unaambiwa uchukue content with a pinch of salt. Okay? Why do you think a lot of people, let's just say an example, mtu yeye ameingia social media leo anataka kuonekana kama Rihanna. Atakuwa na hiyo confidence, yes, but itafika point anaona like these people wananiambia nini, mimi I already look like that. In a few years later, guys, sorry, mimi by the way nilisoma singangi English mbaya. A few years later, unapata huyu mtu sasa kiburi imepanda. Na hiyo kiburi sasa ndio is a fine line between self confidence na ego, zinagongana. So to some extent pia ina build ego. Yes and no. It's a yes and no answer, because you can just be your true self by you just being yourself. And as I said earlier kwa ile point ingine, you cannot be your true self if you're performing for people. So it depends with how even background yako, how you've been built, your character, your integrity. That is what makes who you are. And if you don't have a solid integrity, you don't have a solid character, it's very easy for you to be molded into anything that society wants you to be. That's why unasikianga asiyefunzwa la mamaye hufunzwa na ulimwengu. Let me tell you, kwanza saa hii mimi kama Gen Z personally, the era in which I'm supposed to be living my life and trying my best to be successful. Ndio sasa World War 3 inatokea, kuna magonjwa, sijui kuna nini, there's so much that's happening. And earlier somebody actually mentioned, statistically speaking, naona watu wenye wako middle class are closer to the poverty line than closer to the wealth line. So that means they are actually surviving. You're living from hand to mouth. Okay, so instead of thinking how you can actually increase your finances and your wealth, you are down here trying to push yourself to the poverty line because you want to look successful, but you are just a few, lines away from the poverty line. You understand? Yeah, so I feel like at this point, we are really surviving. We are living by the grace of God, by the way. We are. Tunaishi by the grace of God. But other than that, we really hope that things will change. Because tunashindanga tumeambiwa, especially women, and I'm going to address this by the way today. Women wanaambiwa by the time you're turning 30, you're old. But in society, ukikufa at 30, you're very young, ulikuwa mdogo. You see? So, you're not even competing with yourself. You're competing with people. Kwanza una compete na mtu wako na pesa za babake, anatumia pesa za babake. So, compete na yeye, una compete na babake, number 1. That's pressure number 1. Pressure number 2. Kutaka kukua successful by chasing the wrong things. Okay? Pressure inatoka in so many in different areas, but I can say pressure inatoka kwa social media sana, because a lot of people are displaying success they don't have, money they don't have, wealth they don't have. They're traveling to places wamechukua na loan, okay? Sawa? And all this just to look like you're successful. So, ebu imagine that 22-year-old mwenye ameketi mahali anaona, na Kuki saa hii, actually, she's living her life. Ako Maldives, ako wapi. I would also like to be like her. You see? Iyo sasa, inafanya kukuwe na pressure ya mimi kutaka kuwa successful. Unapata dema nenda najiuza. Let's just talk the truth, because it's a conversation we are having. Dema nenda najiuza because right now tume prioritize getting money through those ways, and I'm not criticizing. Kila mtu anajua, kila mtu ako na mboka yake. Dema nenda najiuza. Dema anapatikana kwa ngori ya kuna. Mademu kuinje wanapatikana sijui wamefanya nini. Maboys pia they are also under the same problems. You understand? So yes, tumewekwa in a situation where we are really being pressured to be successful under 30, but umesahau this life after 30. You're still a young person after 30. As a matter of fact, watu wengi wanasemanga life begins at 40. Okay, so punguza pressure. You've never been 21 before, you've never been 22 before, hujawahi kuwa 23. Why are you under a lot of pressure to be successful before 30? And yet you have a whole life ahead of you. Just do the right thing, and ile kitu you're good at. Me, I always tell young people, whatever you're good at, ile skill uko good at. If you're good at talking, wewe ni mtu wa kuongea sana, wewe ni mtu wa kushona, kuchora, build on that skill and make sure that something good comes out of it. Sawa, monetize it, build it as a business, because success, by the way, it's a very slow burn type of, how can I say, ni kitu slow burn. Success is a slow burn. It's not something that happens today na kesho imekam z. So success before 30, and then after 30 what happens? Like after 30 ni nini itafanyika? People who have more money are respected more than people who have character. Tabia zako, yes, you'll be known because you are a respectable person in the society. But other than that, what are you bringing to the table? What are you bringing to the table? Hata mimi natamani kuwa na pesa. Character yangu, of course, it remain intact, of course, but it's very important in this society. Ganji ndo inabonga. Ni expectations tumewekewa. Na pia ni expectations umejiekea. Sawa? Because tell me why, in your young age, umelelewa na mzazi, and I always dispute this. Mimi wana dispute kitu sana. Mzazi amekulea, umemaliza. It's a responsibility of a parent to take care of you. Sindio? Because yeye ndo alikuleta kwa hii dunia. And also, when you're successful enough to take care of a parent, ndo unaweza now build for them a house, buy for them a car and all that. But I don't think it's an obligation per se, because mzazi responsibility yake ilikuwa kukulea. So umewekewa expectations wewe kama 20-year-old, umemaliza campus, now it's your turn to take care of your parent. So hiyo ni expectation umewekewa. Mzazi sasa anangoje uko unamlipa hizi vitu. And by the way, it's not bad. Kama uko na mzazi mwenye aliku hold down 100%, make sure you take care of them. Alafu, understand this pia, because I have seen a lot of conversation that's going on online about parents who are selfish. Their parents who are very selfish. Let's talk about that. And amekuwekea expectation that the moment you get a job, sasa ni time ya kujenga nyumbani. You see, it becomes a little bit hard for you kujijenga and you're taking care of people. That's the society. Imekuwekea pressure. Wewe unajiwekea pressure in what way? Umejiwekea pressure because umeona nani? Umecheki roba huko hivyo anaendesha Mercedes, hata unataka. Umecheki roba huko ana pop bottles Friday, pia unataka kwenda kupop bottles. Haujui ametoa wapi do. Maybe hata roba anakushanga pesa. Expectation umejiwekea hapa. Remember, success ni slow burn. Guys, young people, let's remember that. Success is a slow burn. Ni kitu yenye happening just immediately. It takes years. Imagine, even to get to 10 million, you have to start from 1. Sindio? To get to 100,000, you have to start from 1. You cannot count 1 and then you count 100,000. Ebu angalia success like that. Based on your the question you asked me before, a lot of people are respected because of the money they have kwa hii society ya sahi. Okay? So, the moment you don't have money, especially kama una deal na bills za Nairobi, you know the way it's so hard to survive in Nairobi. Bedroom moja ni almost 15k, 18k, 20k. Of course, kuna mtu hawezi fikisha hiyo pesa. Okay? Kila mtu anajikuna ajipata hapo. Now, there's a lot of stress. A lot of people who have committed suicide, unapatanga is because of the pressure they're experiencing in life. And sana men. And I feel like it's time we also speak about that. Because pia men wamewekewa expectation. Because you're supposed to do this, unafaa kufanya vitu mingi sana financially. Everybody's looking up to you. Especially if you're a firstborn. Firstborn men, firstborn women. Umewekewa hii expectation. And hauna hiyo resources ya kujifund we mwenyewe. Okay? Kuna scarcity ya do. Alafu tena bado unafaa ku make sure mtu mwingine amekula, umetuma pesa home. It's very, very, the pressure out here is real. Yeah, especially for both genders, it's hard to maintain a relationship. Especially if you're not grounded as a person, it's very hard to maintain a relationship. Because you have to understand that relationship dynamics ni complex sana. you also have to understand the person you're dealing with. So I always say, kwanza kwa relationship, usikuwe na mtu ana whisper kwa masikio yako about your partner. That is where we go wrong by the as people. Either you're a man or a woman, number one. Ukisha cut off hizo noises, now you can deal with other things. Characters, flaws. And by the way, relationships huwa zina reveal who you are as a person and who your partner is as a person as well. And if you cannot be able to stand that, then that means there's a problem also with you as a woman and as a man. Okay? So in South Korea, by the way, kuna kitu imefanyika sahi, kuna kitu inaitwa 4B movement. And under 4B movement, it's a radically digitally meditated feminist refusal where the 4 no's inasema no dating, no sex, no marriage, no childbirth. Okay? Na hii ime affect even the production of kids, the production of the relationship maintenance. Like nobody wants to be in a committed relationship. They prefer just being themselves, by themselves. Okay? So the modern society ime affect. It has really, really affected it. But to each their own, as I always say, to each their own. Oh. I think also a lot of people want to be independent. Tuko kwa generation kila mtu anataka ku just enjoy life. They don't really want to have that responsibility of somebody calling them, texting them. Recently sijui kama umeona hii nini report imetolewa that kuna a lot of young people, not just Gen Zs but also some millennials, they don't want to have somebody at home mwenye they come home and find we tupatane tufanye kenye tunafanya, mimi niende kwangu uende kwako. Unapata okay, I think pia ni kwa sababu ya kubrekiwa roho. A lot of people out here wamevunjwa roho roba. Watu wengi wamevunjwa roho, kwani hata ukisema unataka kutrust tena mtu mwingine na kuwa ngumu. So, emotional unavailability ndo siku hizi wanaita nonchalance. Si ndio, you're very nonchalant. You don't want to like, you don't react to things the way somebody expects you to react. Si ndio? Emotional unavailability is based on also the experience you've gone through, especially kama umekuwa kwa one relationship after another, inafanyanga unakuwa very emotionally unavailable because you feel like everyone behave hivyo. Number 1. Number 2, even the way we have been brought up. Unajua ukigrow up in a home where it's broken, emotional unavailability yako pia inakuanga uko kwa scale ya 10 because now you're like, well, this is how relationships zinakuanga. But mimi nasemanga everybody should just have an open heart. Kuwa na open heart towards relationship, towards life, anything that you do out here. Kuwa na an open heart. And availability yako isifanye you miss opportunities and even good people in life. It has. Because sahi ni kama, it's like a transaction. Ni kama relationship imekuwa transactional. There's something I'm getting from you, there's something you're getting from me. There's nothing like, there's this mutual feeling we have towards each other. Let's see how we can build it. Like 70 to 80% is very transactional right now. Kuna mtu alikuwa anasema ati men used to go to war. Right now, wanaume wanashuka lines kwa kichwa. Na by the way, msiniingililie, it's just a meme. Ni information niliona pale online. Emotionally weak. In the previous generation, wameraiziwa in a way that they just ignore the emotions. You don't have to talk about what you're feeling, okay? You don't have to talk about the things you're going through. And you see, that was, hiyo ilikuwa inaonekana ni kama ni strength. But it is not a strength. Let's just be honest, okay? You're stuffing in a lot of things, but ina benefit nini at the end of the day? Niwe unakuwa na ma-pressure huku nje, uko na ma-blood pressure, uko na manini. Currently, this generation, they like to talk about the emotions. They will tell you what's on their mind. Whether you like it or not, watakwambia. Na the moment wamekwambia story imeisha hivyo. Hiyo ni mimi by the way. I'm like that. Mimi nikikwambia kitu hiyo story imeisha. Sipendi kukaa na vitu kwa roho. So, it's not even more about emotionally overwhelmed. No. I think we're actually more emotionally stimulated than being overwhelmed. Yeah, we're emotionally stimulated. And that's why even right now kuna a lot of movements. We have those spaces where people can come and talk about how they're feeling, emotions. That's why even currently, like, seeing a psychologist is very affordable on some platforms because you need to talk about these things. I think that is every young person. Unamkanga, like there's Amanda unaweza amka ufeel, today me I have my, karibu ni swear hapo. But you wake up one day, you feel like you've got your things together, you have your business in order, and the next day you wake up una feeling ni kama you don't have it together. As a matter of fact, I know every single young person have gone through this. Unamkanga siku ingine una feel ni kama your emotions and your mental focus is on override, okay? And then there are days you wake up and you feel very calm, you feel like you've got this, you're going after your dreams. So it's something that ina happeningi, it's an on and off. Ina happeningi, on and off. Sijui kama mnaniget, but yeah, that's what I said, guys. Mnajua kitu nasema. There are days unaamka you feel like you're up to it. There are days you wake up and you don't feel up to it. Ni vile nimekosa. Natafuta hiyo jina kwa mind yangu but haikuji. But mnaget kitu nasema. Next question. Oh, like they talk more about healing than actually healing. Yeah, and you know one thing, by the way, talking inakuanga cheap. Kuna ile nini yenye Nyashinski anasemanga, small talk kwa job, ubaya ni ilipangi. A lot of people talk about healing and less about working on themselves. You know, when you're talking about healing, that means you're also working on yourself. And I think the most fundamental thing that you can do for yourself, if you're going through any generational trauma, because now we are touching on generational trauma, is healing. Usibebe bitterness ya your parents, usibebe bitterness ya your friends, whatever they did to you. You need to learn to let go as a human being. Umayona these families whereby mama yako alikosewa sijui na anko mgani. Okay? And then this has been passed down to the children. So nyinyi watoto wa mama yako mnachukia watoto wa anko zenu because of the hate that ilitoka kwa wazazi wenu. You see, it is something that ina happen hadi sahi. But if you know better, beef ya mzazi wako si beef yako. As a matter of fact, let them deal with their own beef. Wewe ukiona makazins wenu hamjakosana ama hamjakoseana, walikosana na wazazi, whatever walikosania, maybe hata walikosania shamba mkukua hapo. So, healing generational trauma inaanza na wewe. Breaking generational poverty inaanza na wewe. The one wewe mwenye unaniangalia hapa hivi. Break that generational poverty today. After umeanza kuona hii video. And I think, by the way, hii ni kitu inafaa kufunzwa even in schools. You know, kuna ile kufunzwa so that you're learned. Textbook learning, eh? And then kuna ile kufunzwa about life. Especially things like financial literacy. Hizi ni vitu zingekuwa introduced kitambo kwa shule. How to maintain your finances. Being financially literate. Okay? These are things that, honestly speaking, unafaa kufunzwa. Unafaa kufunzwa from mukiwa mdogo. And I think this is why the 1%, they teach their kids about these things. Unasikia mtu yako na trust fund mahali. Okay? And by the way, my next topic, I'll be talking about trust funds. It's very, very interesting. And I really hope you're going to tune in. But anyway, so, hizi ni vitu tunafaa kufunzwa mapema. Responsibilities. By the way, roba kitu ingine enye na feel ni kama tungefunzwa mapema. Understanding, like, kusavia vitu kama assets. It's very, very important. Mtoto asitoke huku nje sasa ndo anaanza kustruggle na life. Do you know that it's huku nje, by the way, ni exhausting. It's chaotic. Paka there was a time nilikuwa jiuliza, okay, what is the essence of life? Why were we brought on this earth? Kuna wengi wanajiuliza hiyo maswali. Yeah, like there's the textbook learning that you go to school in order to become learned, and then kuna hizo life skills unafaa kukua. Mnafunzwa mapema. Wasichana wanafunzwa kuhusu marriage, you know, mnafunzwa kuhusu taking care of yourselves. There are some values that are instilled in children as early as possible. Ndio akaya kijua. Asikuja afunzwe na ulimwengu, because sometimes unafunzwa na ulimwengu when it's too late. Failure ni kama a continuation of your journey towards success, okay? Nobody teaches anyone how to deal with failure. You can deal with success, but can you deal with the failure if you're not successful? Okay? And that's where a lot of people even try and off themselves. You understand? So yeah, I think, and since everybody has their own time, kila mtu akona time yake ya kuwa successful, to achieve certain things in life, you really need to understand. And I am pretty sure, even with the journey of life that you've been through, you've faced more challenges, more failure, more success. You've walked into a lot of rooms and umeambiwa hii idea yako by the way makes sense. Unaambiwa security kuja uchukue huyu aende, because ideas zako hazi make sense. You see, dealing with that type of failure, because that is hizo ni knows zenye una get in those rooms. You have so much confidence in yourself, what you're selling, but they get rejected. But just because they're being rejected does not mean it's the wrong idea. You see, and the moment you're able to deal with failure, confidence yako inakusaidianga, you get to a point where now you can even be able to handle success better, because you don't want to go back to the same place ulikuwa. That's a very deep question, by the way. I feel tumekuwa disconnected because of, yes, we are very connected online, very very connected online, but emotionally we are very disconnected. Hebu jiulize wewe kwanza, when was the last time mulienda out na mtu wako and it was not even about mmenda date and you guys are not even like on your phones, you're having a conversation, the both of you, you're just laughing at memes, you're laughing at the videos na unamuonesha. That's the connection you're building. But what about those conversations that you guys need to have, those honest conversations? Yeah, tuko very connected hapa, but when it comes to mental, emotional connection, it still needs a lot of work. And that's why it's also very hard to build relationships nowadays. Yeah, pretty privilege is a very real thing. There are people who you can walk into rooms because you're beautiful, you're handsome. Pretty privilege is a real thing. It's a real thing. Appearance, by the way, ina matter. That's why you always told, work on your appearance. Work on your appearance, because people, they judge you on what they look at. Number one. Even before you speak, they look at you and say, oh, okay,